Imagine this. Just 9 days before your wedding, you open your phone, check Instagram, and there she is. The woman you were about to marry. Not smiling with her bridesmaids, not sipping wine at a friend's apartment, but straddling a stranger's lap in the middle of a nightclub, kissing his neck while her bridesmaids cheer her on. That's not a nightmare. That's exactly what happened to one man. And what he did next made local news. Let's start from the beginning. He was 29 years old, working late on a Thursday night. His fiancée, Brianna, 27, had told him her bachelorette was going to be simple, low-key, just dinner, maybe some wine, at her friend Chloe's place. Nothing wild, nothing that would draw attention. Their wedding was only 9 days away. The venue was booked, the caterers were lined up, and her father had spent nearly $80,000 to make sure the event was perfect. But at around 11 p.m. while he was finishing up a project at work, his phone started buzzing. Notification after notification. Instagram alerts. He opened the app, probably expecting a casual photo of Brianna with her friends, maybe clinking glasses at a quiet dinner table. Instead, what he saw stopped him cold. The caption read, "Last night of freedom," and the picture? His fiancée straddling a man's lap at a crowded nightclub, the stranger's hands gripping her waist, her lips pressed against his neck. He stared at his screen, frozen. Surely this was some kind of misunderstanding. A joke? But before he could even process it, more photos started popping up, her grinding against him, him taking body shots off her, her bridesmaids laughing, screaming, cheering her on like it was the greatest show of the night. And then the last photo, her making out with him, full tongue, his hand sliding up her dress. The caption beneath it read, "What happens at bachelorette stays at bachelorette," except she had posted it on social media. That's when he snapped. He screenshotted everything, every single photo. And then right there on the last one, he left a comment. "First night of freedom, actually. Wedding's off." He didn't stop there. He changed his relationship status to single. And then, he tagged her father. Now here's the kicker. Her father, Raymond, was the one who had footed the entire bill for the wedding. $80,000 for the venue, the catering, the flowers, everything. And Raymond had made one rule. One, no wild bachelorette party. Why? Because his business partners and their families were invited to the wedding. And as the owner of 3 car dealerships, his reputation was everything. Within minutes, the groom's phone exploded. Calls from Brianna, calls from her friends, even calls from numbers he didn't recognize. He turned his phone off, and he went home. But the story was far from over. The next morning, his doorbell wouldn't stop ringing. When he opened the door, there stood Brianna's mother, Denise. And right behind her, Brianna herself. Makeup smeared, still in her club dress, tears running down her face. Denise didn't waste a second. She screamed, "How dare you humiliate my daughter like that?" The groom stayed calm. He told her, "She humiliated herself. I just pointed it out." Brianna tried the waterworks. "Baby, it meant nothing. It was just fun. All brides do this." She insisted she hadn't cheated. She claimed it was just dancing. So he pulled out his phone and showed them the screenshots. One by one, her straddling a stranger, grinding on him, the body shots, the makeout, and finally, the hand up her dress. Even Denise gasped when she saw that one. For a moment, even Brianna's own mother couldn't defend her. But then she demanded, "Delete those pictures right now. The wedding is in 9 days." The groom looked her in the eyes and said, "What wedding?" That's when Brianna dropped the innocent act. The tears dried up. Her voice hardened. "You already paid for everything. You can't cancel now. Do you know how this will make me look?" There it was. Not "I'm sorry." Not "I made a mistake." Not "I'll do anything to make it right." Just worried about appearances. The groom reminded her. He hadn't paid for anything. Her father had. She was the one who insisted on letting daddy handle all the expenses. And now, all those deposits, non-refundable. Denise went pale. The reality hit, and as they left, she even threatened to sue the groom for emotional damages. He laughed it off. But things were about to get worse. 3 hours later, he heard noise outside his apartment. When he looked out the window, he couldn't believe it. A news van. Apparently, Brianna had run straight to Channel 7. She gave them a sob story about how her fiancé had humiliated her, how he had weaponized social media against her, and the reporters bought every word. On the noon news, she appeared in a conservative outfit, no makeup, crocodile tears in her eyes. She told the world she was the victim, that her fiancé was controlling, abusive, that he had destroyed her life over what she called an innocent night of fun with her girlfriends. The headline? Groom's social media revenge goes too far. From betrayal, to family drama, to live television, All because she couldn't keep her promises 9 days before the wedding. So here's the question. Was the groom right to call it off the way he did? Or did he go too far? You'd think catching your fiancée with another man's tongue down her throat would make you the victim. But somehow, in her version of events, I was the bad guy. That first news segment, it backfired instantly. Because Brianna forgot one tiny detail. The internet never forgets. Within hours, people dug up her Instagram posts. Sure, she deleted them, but screenshots live forever. And once they hit the comments on the news station's Facebook page, it was game over. The internet didn't hold back. Comment after comment tore her apart. Harmless fun? She was basically dry humping him. She made it public, and he's wrong for responding? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And Channel 7? Everyone dragged them for running her sob story without fact-checking. But then, the story took another insane turn. The man from the club came forward. His name was Trent, and Trent was married. His wife saw the broadcast, recognized him immediately, and went nuclear. She hijacked their joint Facebook account and posted everything. Brianna's texts, the nudes she had sent, even his replies. Turns out, Brianna had told him she was in an open relationship, that her wedding was just for show, that her fiancé was rich, and she was using him. Rich? The groom wasn't rich. He was a project manager at a tech company. Comfortable, sure, but millionaire money? Not even close. That afternoon the phone rang. It was Raymond, her father. The first time he'd ever called without Brianna around. His voice was low, heavy. Son, I need to know. Did she really do what those photos show? The groom sent him everything. Silence on the other end. Then finally, I'm pulling every penny I can from the wedding fund. I'll take the rest as a loss. She can figure it out. I raised her better than this. Her mother has enabled her for too long. I'm done. For once Raymond and the groom were on the same page, but Brianna wasn't finished. Later that day, she showed up with her bridesmaids, Chloe, Madison, and Jackie. They lined up in the hallway like some kind of intervention squad. Chloe went first. We need to talk about your toxic masculinity. The groom blinked. My what now? You're punishing Bri for expressing her sexuality, she said. Then Madison chimed in. It's 2024. Women are allowed to have fun. The groom didn't flinch. She can have all the fun she wants, just not as my fiancé. That's when Jackie tried the guilt trip. Do you know how many people already bought plane tickets? My grandma is flying in from Florida. His response? Sounds like a personal problem. And then Brianna snapped. She looked him dead in the eyes and hissed. If you don't take me back, I'll tell everyone you hit me. Silence. Even her own friends froze. Chloe whispered. Bri, you can't say stuff like that. Brianna shrugged. Why not? He's ruining my life. I deserve this. The groom pulled out his phone, hit record and said, say that again, on camera. She stormed out. Her friends followed, but as Madison passed, she leaned in and whispered, for what it's worth, I told her not to post those photos. That evening, the news station aired a follow-up. This time, they had Trent's wife on camera. She came armed with receipts, texts, screenshots, pictures. The narrative flipped instantly. Suddenly, the controlling groom wasn't the story anymore. It was the cheating bride, caught red-handed. Brianna's Instagram went private. Her Facebook vanished. But she wasn't done spiraling. Update 2. First, she tried to salvage the wedding without her dad's money. She launched a GoFundMe titled, Help Me Save My Dream Wedding After Public Humiliation. She raised $47. Someone even donated $2 with the note. For therapy. When that failed, she pivoted. She claimed she and the groom had a verbal agreement that he owed her $50,000 for emotional labor during their relationship. 3 years of supporting him, she said. When that scam collapsed, she went after his job. She emailed his boss, accusing him of harassment and creating a hostile work environment. The problem? They didn't even work together. His boss, who had seen the news coverage, simply forwarded the email back with one line. You dodged a missile, not a bullet. But the peak insanity came on Thursday. The groom was at the grocery store when his apartment complex called. Someone had tried to break into his unit. Security had already caught them. It was Brianna, and a man he didn't recognize. She told security she was his wife, not even fiancée anymore. Wife, and that she had just lost her key. The locksmith she'd brought, her cousin Derek, with a crowbar. Security had already called the cops. At the station, Brianna played every card she could think of. I left my medication inside. She doesn't take medication. My grandmother's ashes are in there. Both grandmothers alive. He stole my emotional support animal. They never owned a pet. The officer finally said, Ma'am, you just gave 3 different reasons. Her excuse? Because I'm traumatized. Meanwhile, Derek folded instantly. She told me it was her apartment and promised me $500 if I helped her get her stuff back. I didn't know about any of this drama. The security footage sealed it. Clear as day. Brianna tried the lock herself. then called Derek in with the crowbar. Premeditated breaking and entering. Her mother bailed her out that night, and of course she called the groom, screaming about pressing charges against family. His answer? Denise, we're not family. Your daughter made sure of that when she tongued another man. Her reply? It was a mistake. Haven't you ever made a mistake? He didn't hesitate. Sure, proposing to her was apparently a huge one. She hung up, but the chaos wasn't done yet. Remember Trent's wife? She reached out to him directly on Facebook. Turns out, even after everything blew up, Brianna was still texting Trent, still sending him photos, begging him to leave his wife, claiming their meeting was fate, that they were meant to be. The wedding may have been off, but Brianna, she was just getting started. By this point, you'd think Brianna would finally back off. But no, she doubled down, harder than ever. Trent's wife, remember her? She wasn't letting this go. She started building a harassment case against Brianna and asked the groom if he wanted to combine evidence. His answer? And then came Friday, the day before what should have been their wedding. Brianna made her grandest move yet. She showed up at his office, in a wedding dress. Not just any dress, the wedding dress, the one that cost $8,000, the one her father had bought. She walked into the lobby, veil over her face, mascara streaking down her cheeks, sobbing for him to remember their love. Security escorted her out, but not before the entire office got photos and videos. By that evening, someone had set the clips to sad violin music and posted them on TikTok. It blew up, 2.3 million views. The comments were ruthless. The mascara tears really sell the crazy. This is why you don't ignore red flags. Bro didn't dodge a bullet. He dodged a nuclear warhead. And my personal favorite, imagine being the other guy watching this. The very next day, their supposed wedding day, Brianna went even further off the rails. The groom spent it at a bar with his boys. Football, wings, best Saturday he'd had in months. But Brianna, she showed up at the venue, in her dress, with a photographer. Since her father had canceled everything and the deposits were gone, she couldn't get refunds. But technically the venue was still booked, so she had her wedding anyway, alone. She staged the whole thing, walking down the aisle, fake cake cutting, a first dance with no groom. The venue staff were so uncomfortable they called Raymond, her dad. He showed up furious. According to the catering manager, he shouted, "You're embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing this family." Her reply, "I deserve my special day. He stole it from me." Raymond snapped, "He stole it. You couldn't keep your tongue out of another man's mouth for 9 days. She screamed back that he never supported her happiness, that this was her truth. Raymond left, but not before telling the staff to pack up all the catered food and donate it to a homeless shelter. At least someone got something good out of the disaster. As for the photographer, she hadn't paid him a dime. She assumed Daddy would. Halfway through he realized he wasn't getting paid, and walked out, but not before posting a few of the shots on his Instagram with the caption, "Weirdest gig ever. Bride no groom still wanted couples photos. I can't make this up." And yes, those photos went viral too. Brianna holding her own hand. Brianna slow dancing alone. Brianna toasting to an empty room. Hilarious and tragic at the same time. Then came the legal fallout. Court date for the attempted break-in finally arrived. Brianna pled down to attempted trespassing. The sentence? 100 hours of community service, a $2,500 fine and a restraining order keeping her 500 feet away from the groom. Her lawyer tried the mental health defense, claiming her breakdown was triggered by public humiliation. But the judge wasn't having it. Your client attempted to break into someone's apartment with a crowbar. Mental health isn't a free pass for criminal behavior. And Trent's wife? She got her own restraining order after catching Brianna driving by their house at night. That's when Trent finally admitted it wasn't just one night. He and Brianna had hooked up twice before the bachelorette party, once in his car, once at a motel. Paid for, of course, with Brianna's daddy's credit card. When Raymond found out, that was the final straw. 31 years of marriage to Denise, gone. He blamed her for enabling Brianna's behavior. She blamed him for abandoning their daughter. They filed for divorce. Meanwhile, Brianna's life unraveled. She moved in with her friend Jackie, picked up a job at a makeup store, and lost her marketing career after the wedding dress stunt went viral. According to mutual friends, she's still telling everyone that her ex abused her and ruined her life over nothing. One night he got a text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry for everything. I know you'll never forgive me, but I'm in therapy now. I realize I have issues. I hope you find happiness." He didn't respond. He forwarded it to his lawyer instead. But then came a twist. Madison, the bridesmaid who once accused him of toxic masculinity, reached out. Not to defend Brianna, but to apologize. They grabbed coffee. She admitted she'd been questioning the friendship for months. Brianna had even hooked up with Madison's ex 2 years earlier and gaslit her about it. They're not dating, but they've hung out a few times. She even showed him the group chat from the bachelorette night. She was the only one saying maybe don't post these pics. The story eventually made it back on the news.
This time the cameras were on him. He kept it simple. I saw my fiancée cheating, ended the relationship, and moved on. Everything else was her choice. When asked if he had regrets, he said, yeah, not seeing the red flags sooner, like when she made out with a stranger at her sister's wedding, and called it testing the waters. I should have run then. The reporter's face was priceless. That part never made it on air. As for him, life turned around. He got promoted at work, moved into a better apartment with no memories attached, picked up rock climbing again, something Brianna always called too dangerous, adopted a rescue pit bull named Diesel. She had claimed she was allergic. She wasn't. She just didn't like dogs. And the best moment? Running into Raymond at a coffee shop. Raymond bought his coffee and said, "You know, I was planning to give you both a house as a wedding gift. Looks like you dodged that too." They actually laughed together. People asked if he thought Brianna learned anything. His answer? No. People like that don't learn. They just find new people to blame. Last he heard, she was dating some gym bro who believes her ex was just intimidated by her free spirit. Good luck with that, gym bro. You're going to need it. And Trent? Divorced. Living in his brother's garage. Paying alimony. Brianna doesn't even answer his texts anymore. Karma's beautiful sometimes. The groom wrapped it all up perfectly. Now I've got my job, my sanity, my dog, and my tongue stays where it belongs. In my own mouth. Oh, and yes, he kept the ring. Sold it, bought a gaming setup. Brianna can die mad about it. And just when you thought the saga was over, there was one last cherry on top. Brianna tried to sue the news station for defamation, claiming their follow-up segments destroyed her reputation. They countersued for filing a frivolous lawsuit. Now she owes them legal fees. And that, my friends, is the end of the Crazy Bride saga.